It's from a handicapper that's real sincere. I'm picking Valentine, cause on the morning line, the guy's got him figured at 5 to 9. So make it F and 10, he wins it by.
Hello racing fans and welcome back to Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the races throughout the season at Hastings Racecourse, and things kick off, Drew, on Sunday. 150 first post. We got 8 races signed on and 2 good stakes.
2 really good stakes. I went over the stakes a few times. There's a lot of different ways you can look at them. I mean, you're naturally going to leave out horses that have a hell of a shot to win it.
Amazing resumes.
Yeah, exactly. Really competitive fields, those. We also have Aaron Grider returning to ride for North American Thoroughbreds. We have Rico Walcott coming in to ride, Quincy Welsh. Those 2 guys, top riders coming in from Alberta to ride opening day. A lot of excitement around here for opening day. Let's hop right into it.
Let's get into the first race. Let's get into it. Maiden fillies and mares, 12-5 claimers, going 6 furlongs. Drew, I went to the 5-horse, Appreciate the Roses. Yep. Goes on Lasix. Not the reason I picked the horse, but still, the horse had some trouble in its debut, going 3.5 furlongs last year.
Yep.
Didn't get away well. Had steadied after that. And anytime, as you know, going 3.5 furlong races, if you encounter 2 or 3 different points of trouble, you're doomed. Yeah. And so this horse is better than that form indicates. You might get a little bit of a price, maybe not a ton, but the works are good. I just look for this horse to maybe be the speed of the race. I'll try Appreciate the Roses to defeat the likely favorite, Battling Brook, who has been working well for Hall of Famer Troy Taylor. This horse is an obvious horse on paper, running against much tougher company last year, and we'll see how she fares. And I put the 4-horse Jag Time Tune in for 3rd. Frank Fuentes rides for Nancy Betts. He seems to get, Nancy actually has 2 in here, and Frank usually rides the liver.
He probably got his pick.
He's kind of the first call rider for Nancy Betts, and this horse has some speed, some decent trials, and Nancy can have one ready as well. But I do like the 5, Appreciate the Roses. I went 5, 6, and 4.
I flip-flopped your top 2. I did put Battling Brook on top just because she's a little more seasoned. She's ran 6 times. As you mentioned, Anita Bolton's horse only has a 1 start. It was 3.5. So there is room to improve, but I just like a bit more of a battle-tested horse. Pardon the pun, I went with Battling Brook. I did put Appreciate the Rose in the 2nd spot. Great connections to Anita Bolton, Peter Redicop, Amadeo Perez, always a top rider here. He's also, I know Amadeo's been doing a lot of work in the mornings. He would have been on a lot of horses. He probably had a couple in this race he could choose from. He goes to Appreciate the Roses. And the 3rd spot, I went with a bit of a flyer. Country Pearl out of the very confident Will McLaren barn. Look at the works. 1 minute and 4/5, minute and 2/5, 47 and 3. Been working very well. The only 4-year-old in the race, so I don't mind Country Pearl. And
Bill does a good job with the small stable. He's always done well. Yeah, Billy Blue. He's had just to name one, but Bill McLaren's had a lot of nice horses throughout the years.
Always gets the most out of them.
He's done very, very well, and wouldn't be surprised to see this one be live at first time.
Yeah, absolutely. Bit of a price play.
Yes.
The 2nd race, I went to your likely heavy favorites, Admiral Morgan, the 1. Sorry, this is a maiden 12-5 for 3-year-olds and up.
Yep.
I went with 3-year-old Admiral Morgan. He's been running at Golden Gate. This is something I'm going to mention a few times on today's card. Impossible to overstate how much that means to horses that have just been training here in the spring, and it has been a bit of an ugly spring. But a horse that, comes in from California that's fit, ready to run. Taking a drop, he'd been running for maiden 32, maiden 20 there, dropping, fit, all signs point to Admiral Morgan for me. The 2nd spot, I put Bluegrass Man, well-bred son of Bluegrass Cat, who I've always thought there's a little bit more there. He's had trouble finding it sometimes. He's been kind of a hot and cold kind of horse, but Frank Barabee can definitely have him ready. I got him in the 2nd spot. And 3rd spot, I put out of the Tac Inoue barn, Wee Harry with Ryan Pacheco aboard. Lightly raced horse that was running much higher most of his career, drops down the maiden 12-5 level. I'll give him a shot. 1, 3, and 4 for me.
Yeah, I've gone to the 1-horse Admiral Morgan as well. I agree with you that the fitness edge is huge for him. The horse has been running, and a lot of these other horses have had, trying to get prepared to run 6 furlongs, and this horse is going to be like already had all those races under his belt. So it has the rail too, and that's a big edge going 6.
Yeah.
I'll take Admiral Morgan. But it is a 3-year-old running against older horses, and it does matter, especially up here in the Northwest. It does matter. A lot of times the 4-year-olds are a little more advanced. And I'm going to put the 2-horse Turning Home, who's a 4-year-old, in for second. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the horse win. I'm definitely going to have both of them in the early wagers because Turning Home had some trouble in its debut. This horse, the works are very, very good. You look at the works. Mel Snow can have one ready at first asking, and I've actually done quite well at taking Mel Snow or John Snow horses because they come in off the farm. They do a lot of work early in January and February, then come to the track and continue on in March and April. But this horse could be live, and Keyshawn Balgome is an underrated rider. This kid can ride.
He's going to have a good year here.
I think you'll see him have a lot of success. You're right. And I put the 4-horse Bluegrass Man in for third. Jason Rodriguez rides. This horse kind of got off to a late start last year. Didn't surface until June. And it's tough to jump in the middle of the season with any horse running against top-level horses and expect to perform admirably. And what ends up happening, you get off to a bad start and you just don't have that confidence. And that ended up, looks like it hurt.
Snowballs a little bit.
It looked like it hurt his year last year. But anyway, I went 1, 2, and 4. I agree with you with the one horse, Admiral Morgan. On to the third race, got some non-3 $4,000 claimers here to go 6 furlongs. We've got 6 of them signed on. I'm going to land on the 4-horse SR Rocket Man. This horse been running, started the season off really high last year. They expected more of the horse, started off high, running and ended up getting beat up a bit. Then that's the thing, when you lose confidence in anything, as a human being, as a horse, when you're not fully confident, even when you drop against easier company, you don't necessarily run well, and that looked to be the case throughout he finally going along last year in September. He runs second for non-3-8, but this horse is at least starting on the bottom now. It's not asked to do a lot in this first start. His works are good. Amadeo rides. I like a lot of things I see about SR Rocketman. This is not a tough field at all. I think he can win it. But the 3-horse McQuina, who's your likely favorite, this horse has been on the missing list. Ran quite often at Woodbine 2 years ago. Only the once last year at Hollywood Park, and then it's been a year and a half off. The works are. You must respect the connection, so I'm going to put him in for second, and I put the 2-horse Kai's Command in for third. Good form towards the end of the year. The horse seemed to be getting it, figuring it out, because kind of got off to a tough start, but the last 3 or 4 or 5 races were very good, so I'm going to put him in for third. I went 4, 3, and 2. I like SR Rocketman. I
got the same horses. I put McKenna. Is that what we say? McQuina. Tomato.
Chief McQuina is a school not far from here.
There you go.
It's got 2 ends in it.
McQuina.
So that might not be the same.
Well, McQuina, however you say it, has taken a significant drop. That puts a question mark there for me. But when you look back, this horse, 2 wins, 3 seconds of his first 5 races. There's obviously talent there. They took it to California. They tried it once. Obviously,
you can't fault the form.
Obviously, something happened because it hasn't run since then.
It's one of those the paddock, go to the paddock, look at the horse, and see what If
that's
this
absolutely
horse
right.
Look,
so maybe have a look at it, but
have a peek at it.
If it is anywhere near okay, I think they're just not going to be able to beat this horse. I put SR Rocketman in the second spot for the reasons you mentioned. Always been a tougher horse, and he starts. Instead of starting a little higher this year, he starts right at the bottom where he'll fit in.
We've seen it
very nice.
A lot of times where horses that start off one year on really high and then work their way down to the bottom and never get in form. Then the next year, because they start off at the bottom because
they go the other way.
They go all the way up, and they get back
exactly
to
right.
They achieve the goals that the owners had in the first place.
Confidence, as you mentioned, confidence very underrated.
It's amazing. It's contagious.
Yeah. So I have McKenna on top, SR Rocketman in the second spot, and Kai's Command, who you mentioned, in the third spot for trainer Jody Rawson. Quincy Welsh, as we mentioned, coming out to help out
back in action
on Sunday. Last year. Yep, exactly. So I had the same horses, but I put McKenna on top, 3, 4, 2 for me in the third. On to the fourth race. Fillies and Mares, non-winner to 2, lifetime 4,000. I went to the 2 LaFactor Well, the Steve Henson barn. This is another one. She was running in tougher races at Turf Paradise. But again, as we mentioned, has been running. That's something that I kept looking forward to. In each race, I look for the horse that's been running. There's a couple in here, but the one I went to is LaFactor Well, Amadeo Perez, and Steve Henson. They always seem to do pretty well together. The second spot, I put probably your favorite, Beautiful Strike, at the Troy Taylor barn. Ran last time, hasn't run since last August, which is one of the reasons, which was a much tougher race at Del Mar. Don't get me wrong. But hasn't been running, which is why I went with LaFactor Well. Beautiful Strike in the second spot. In the third spot, I went for Harold Barabie's Doreen's Delight, mare, kind of an up and down mare. Seems to hit the board a lot though, a lot of thirds. So that's where I have her today, is in the third spot with Keyshawn Balgobin. As Mike mentioned, a young rider came here last year, was starting to heat up near the end of the year, and I think he'll have a good year this year. So I have, what are my numbers again? I got 2, 3, 4 in the fourth.
Yeah, I went to the 3-horse Beautiful Strike. I just think she's the speed of the race. This is, it's a non-2 for 4,000. This is not a tough assignment for her. I know she's been off since Del Mar, but and you're getting no value. I'm giving you an obvious selection at 2 to 5 or 3 to 5. I mean, this horse should win the money. I'd be surprised if she doesn't. But Aaron Greider rides once again for Troy Taylor. Put Amadeo Perez. We got a lot of Amadeo and Aaron in these actors so far on the early part of the card. But I put Le Factor Wow in for second. As you mentioned, been running. Don't think the filly liked the turf at all, but gets back on the dirt, and her lack of speed is what bothers me going 6 furlongs, and that's why I put her in the second spot. I put the 5, Antsy Nancy, who has some speed. Kind of got into some good form last year. I think she's the best of the rest. I put her in for third. At this 6 furlong distance anyway, and that's why I like her. I went 3, 2, and 5. I think Beautiful Strike's your horse. On to the 5th race, $16,000 older horses, going 6 panels. I went way to the outside of the recent racing Lorne 500 for Rob Maben, Sheena Maben. This guy's been running some good races down at Golden Gate against
He's a pretty cool old horse.
12, 5, and 10 claimers. Yeah. Those are dirty, tough races.
Yeah, they are down there.
And not to say that this isn't a tough 16, but those races are significantly tougher, and I'm going to go to Lorne 500. I think the outside is a good thing. This horse has enough tactical speed. I know it's just 6 furlongs, but I'm hoping that this horse can get into a bit of a spot and not be 5 deep the whole race. And that's the only thing that I think that can beat this horse is the trip. But this horse does have enough tactical speed, I think, to get into a spot and slide in and be very dangerous. Yeah. I put the 4-horse Lookout Dubai. Do I think this is the best horse in the race? No. But this horse has the right tactics. When you have a 10-horse field going 6 furlongs, you know where you want to be, on the lead. And Lookout Dubai has the speed. He will get some pressure, but I still think this horse must be respected. Brian O'Connell's done a good job with this horse. This horse ran some big races last year. And we'll see how he does, but Lookout Dubai for me for second. And I put the 1-horse, Michael's Glory. He too ran quite well towards the end of the year. Has a nice advantageous post, can track the speed and maybe be in the mix. But I know I've left out Bear Rock and Roll. I've left out Stormy Canuck. I mean, past a Bridge Jumper. I've left off the ticket. It's a good little race. It's a race. The late pick 4 kicks off here, and you might want to spread it out a little.
It is a tough race. I did the same thing too. I went to Lorne 500. Again, he's the horse that's been running, and as you mentioned, those are tough races down there. He's been running. He's race fit. He just missed last time. He came from Golden Gate last summer and knocked out a 25.
15 and change.
Yeah, just crushed in a 25. Comes in this year, the first one of the boxes for 16. I really like Lorne 500. I put Yessie's Trouble in the second spot of the capable Teddy Hurt barn, Quincy Welsh aboard. A horse that has a start under his belt. Ran in a pretty tough race at Emerald, an optional 25 at Emerald, shows up here for 16. I don't mind that angle. I think he's going to be a price, and he could, with a bit of a fitness edge, he could, make some noise in here. And the third spot, I got your horse too, Michael's Glory, good friend of the show. Wayne Oliver owns this one. A horse that was, he's going to go from running against 3-year-olds to 4-year-olds, so we'll see how he takes that. But I've been running very good. Had a solid year last year.
Yeah, and he went all the way up. He
won 3 races for him.
The claiming ladder. He ran in a stake actually. On DC Cup.
Absolutely. So nothing wrong with Michael's Glory. I have him in the third spot. I got 10, 8, and 1. On to the 6th, the George Royal. The first stake. That's right. First stake of the day. The George Royal for older boys, going 6.5. I went to the outside. Troy Taylor has 2 in here. Obviously they like Devil in Disguise better, because that's the one that Greider ends up on. But I went with Success Rate. I thought that was a huge race he ran last time, that optional 62 at Golden Gate. He just missed, just got beat a neck. That is a very tough race down there. And he's got the race under his belt, which is, again, I'm bringing that up again. That's why I like Success Rate. The second spot, I put the Old Warhorse, Senior Rojo. Look at the bullets on his work tab. He's just been firing bullets every week. He can be ready.
Yeah, he won first time out last year.
Yeah, exactly. He can.
Good time.
He can run short. He can run long. Some of the other horses in this race that this is what we talked about earlier. I'm leaving off very nice horses that are very capable of winning this race. But I just like the way that Senior Rojo's been training, and he can go short, which worried me about a horse like Title Contender. The last time he ran short was at Churchill Downs in a race, in an allowance race, and he didn't run very good at all, so I left him off the ticket. The third spot, I put Devil in Disguise, the one obviously that Troy Taylor prefers in this race because that's when the Grider ended up on, but I'm switching up a bit. I got Success Rate, Senior Rojo, and then Devil in Disguise, 8, 2, and 7 for me.
Yeah, I've gone to the one you left off the ticket, Title Contender, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't win, but
I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
He's been breezing very well in the mornings, and he's a horse that I think might be a way better 4-year-old. He needed to grow up. If you saw the horse run last year in its limited races here in the Canadian Derby, the BC Derby, and the Premiers, he's a horse that is an absolute. He's really ignorant in the paddock.
Yeah,
he's
can. He's a
terrible
handful.
to be saddled, and he's expanding a lot of energy prior to these races, and it cost him in the Canadian Derby because he tossed the tack off. He was just being totally. And that was his first run since being purchased by Peter Redekop, and but then he put it all together in the Derby. He was still anxious in the paddock, but he still ran a huge race, and he came back and ran very well in the BC Premier. I think as a 4-year-old, he might maybe drop his gear, drop it down a bit mentally, and he might be a little better prepared. He still has to sprint, as you mentioned. He hasn't won sprinting. I look back at the race at Delmar back in there in July of 2012, but I'm looking back 2 years, but still, it was a decent. The horse can sprint. This horse he's talented, and he's been working well with exercise rider Drew Levere. And Drew's not he's not a skinny kid.
No,
he's got a. He's 150,
he's 140, 150 pounds,
And that's who's been working this horse in the mornings. And this horse has been performing very well, the 59, endless string of 59s. And Anita Bolton can have one ready. So I'm going to try this horse. I just think it gets a good trip sitting off of Golden. I think Golden Triumph clears the inside 4 horses. Title Contender gets the lap on him with Rico Walcott. Going to be dangerous. I think going to be dangerous from a 2-wide trip, and I think the draw is perfect for Title Contender. I'm going to go to him to win it. I put Devil in Disguise. I put the Troy Taylor runners, Devil in Disguise and Success Rate in behind. They're both 2 gifted horses. If Title Contender isn't ready, either one of those horses will beat him easily. And Golden Triumph, I don't mind at all. The 5 horse, because he is going to be the leader. He may not be the.
He's one of those horses too. If he gets a lead, he can get brave, no matter how fast they're going.
He's a freak. Sometimes it's odd. When he gets in a tough race, he'll run huge.
Yeah.
When he gets in an easier race, sprinting, he kind of run flat or something. Yeah. But this horse is fast, and Dino, this horse has been freshened up. Had a winter off, and Dino can have one ready as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's an excellent trainer for Swift Thoroughbreds. So I went 6, 7, 8. I do like Title Contender, your BC Derby winner last year, to get off on the right foot and win the George Royal. On to the Brighouse House Bells, fillies and mares going 6.5 furlongs. Got a field of 8, and I ended up on the 5-horse Hollywood Miss, who has been racing down in Golden Gate Fields. I thought a very good run, going a mile for the first time. Cuts back to a sprint, which I think is her best distance. I don't see a pile of speed on in here.
Yeah.
And if there is any speed, it's going to be her stablemate Dear Lily, and I think they could slow things down. Overvalued could kind of mess up the party a little bit, because she has some speed as well. But I think Hollywood Miss and Aaron Grider are your horses to beat. I put Overvalued in for second, and I put the 3-horse Madeira Park, who's probably not at her best distance, going 6.5 furlongs, but she's a classy filly anyway, and she's been training well. So I went 5, 8, and 3 in the Brighouse Bells.
I got Hollywood Miss on top too, running very tough races down at Golden Gate. Again, a horse that's race ready. I think it's her race to lose. I put Madeira Park in the 2nd spot, you had her in the 3rd spot. Totally, it's not really her gig going this short.
No, she's a nice.
But she just seems to be getting better and better with age, so I'm thinking I can kind of oversee that maybe she's just good enough to get a piece of it because she is that good, even though it's not really her best. And I put the other Troy Taylor horse, Dear Lily, another one's been running at Golden Gate, and another one that could surprise in here. Gets Quincy Welsh aboard, and she's 2 for 4 lifetime at Golden Gate, which is not a soft place to run. I got 5, 3, and 7 in the Brighouse Bells.
The Sunday finale.
And the finale of opening day, claiming $5,000 for 3-year-olds and up, and I have gone to the 8 Arkhill. 16 wins and a 45 career lifetime races. Yeah, he's a tough old boy. He knows at this level he just seems to win. He always seems to win. And he gets Rico Walcott in for our last year's leading trainer, Craig McPherson, who obviously knows how to get him ready. I got Arkhill on top. The 2nd spot, I put Swiss Arrogant out of the Dave Milburn barn. This is one that he can freak on you and run a big race, and he seems to be better early on in the season too. He's an older horse, probably got a few problems, and as you go on, it seems to kind of, maybe those things start to bug him. But fresh out of the gate, I think he's a horse that could threaten a little bit. And the third spot, I put another very consistent horse, Ice Rules. 5 wins out of 16 starts for John Snow. Amadeo Perez takes a call for John. A lot of things to like about him, too. I got 8, 4, and 5 in the finale.
Yeah, I've gone to the 5-horse, Drew, Ice Rules. Yep. I think this horse can win the race.
That would not surprise me.
Gets Amadeo Perez. This horse, I picked, and I have to pick him because I picked him last year when he won. First time out.
There you go,
Paid a good buck, and that's the thing. This horse ran well fresh last year, and it's nice to, you follow back patterns like that, and that's one thing about horse racing. There will be some patterns, and there'll be some, patterns you can't follow. But I mean,
yes, there will be.
Yes, there will be. It's a tricky game. But Ice Rules looks like he's been training well. I think it's good. Quite a bit of speed in here. You got Canucks Roar and Razor, going to have decent speed. And then you got the fast ones, Swiss Arrogant and a Fleet Mac. And I just think Ice Rules could get a nice trip just in behind all the, that front running action and be very dangerous under Amadeo Perez. Put the 6-horse Fleet Mac in for second. I like this horse. I think probably the best horse in the race, but this horse has a lot of quirks to him. He will rattle around in the starting gate. He usually gets low to the last. He's misbehaves quite a bit. But one thing he is talented, and he can throw a 116 and change at you going 6.5. He could probably throw a 111 at you going 6. So this horse could be dangerous. And I put the 8-horse Hard Kill. Classy dude, as you mentioned, 9-year-old that just wins race.
Just
All
wins.
he does is win.
He wins.
And he too gets a good pace to run at. As does Ice Rule. So I went 5, 6, and 8 in the Sunday finale. Well, that'll do it for our analysis of the card. But next up on screen will be a quick recap of our selections for the Sunday program. Here we go. I'll kick things off. I got the 5, Appreciate the Roses. I went 5, 6, and 4 back in race number 1. Race number 2 went the 1-horse Admiral Morgan over the 2 and 4. Race number 3, the 4, SR Rocket Man for the Felicellas and Lenore Dubois. I went 4, 3, and 2. Race number 4, number 3, Beautiful Strike over the 2 and 5. Race number 5, the 10, Lorne 500 over the 4 and 1. Race number 6, the BC Derby winner, title contender, last year's BC Derby winner. See if he can get back on track with a big performance. I went 6, 7, and 8, but a great George Royal it is. Lots of chances in that one. In race number 7, the Breakout Spells went to the 5, Hollywood Miss over the 8 and 3. Also another good betting race. And in the finale, in the 8th race, I went to the 5-horse Ice Rules over the 6 and 8. 5, 6, and 8 for me in the finale.
And there we go. There's my picks up there. In the first, I went to the 6, Battling Brook over the 5 and the 2. In the second, I went to the 1, Admiral Morgan over the 4 and the 3. In the third, I went to the 3, McKenna over the 4 and the 2. In the fourth, I went to the 2, La Factor Wow over the 3 and the 4. In the fifth, I agree with Mike on the tough old horse, Lorne 500, number 10 over the 8 and the 1. In race 6, I went to the number 8, Success Rate over the 2 and the 7. In the 7th, I went to the 5, Hollywood Miss over the 3 and the 7. And in the nightcap, the 8th race, I went to number 8, Arkhill over the 4 and the 5.
All right, that'll do it for our first show of the season here from the Derby Bar and Grill. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget, racing resumes next weekend. We do have a Saturday and Sunday card. And, of course, the Saturday, Kentucky Derby Day.
Kentucky Derby Day. We're looking forward to it. And if you don't go out to Hastings, even on Sunday, you can always come watch the race here. And, of course, Kentucky Derby Day is a huge day here at the Derby Bar and Grill.
So come on out to the Derby Bar and Grill. If you aren't going to Hastings, should be lots of fun. Lots of great entertainment going on. It's a great time to be a horse racing fan.
Yes, it is.
And should be a lot of fun.
Derby fever.
On behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in to Handicapper's Corner. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.
5 to 9, but make it epitaph. He wins it by a half. According to this here.